You know, this afternoon I was thinking about the number of teachers I've had in my lifetime. Many, many teachers, a lot less good teachers. So think yourself about your situation. I'm sure you've had many, many teachers. How many good teachers did you have? So speaking of good teachers, it's often been said that Jesus was a master teacher. That is, that he spoke in the language that the people could fully grasp what he was saying. As you know yourselves, the people he dealt with were uneducated farmers and fishermen, people of the earth. And so if you take the time to go through the Gospels, you find that so much of the Gospels is directed to sowing or reaping or fishing, or, you know, he really gets down to their level. And you recall, for those of you who were here last week, I hope you're all somewhere last week, but you may recall last week that the gospel reading last Sunday was upon I am, he says, the good shepherd. I know mine, and mine know me. The people he was talking to, they would have known the difference between a good shepherd and a bad shepherd. And so when he says he was a good shepherd, then they knew exactly what he meant. Now, he switched on to a new subject here this evening. You know that as well as I do. He says, I am, he says, the vine, and you are the branches. So I'd love to be able to have gotten a vine with branches and take it to you here this evening, but I couldn't do that, so I did the next best thing. We got a little This is not a vine tree by any, but it's a baby little tree. Okay, and for boys and girls, you have like, this is like the vine. This is like the main stem, the trunk, if you will, and these are real healthy branches. And so what Jesus was saying to the people of his time, what he's saying to us here today is that he is this here, okay? He is the trunk, if you will, and that we are the branches. And you say, well, how do I become a branch? Well, we started this evening, we started our celebration this evening in the foyer of the church with a little baptismal rite. And all of you, somewhere along the line, were also either at that baptismal font or a similar one somewhere else. That is, baptism is the beginning of your relationship with Jesus Christ. That when you are baptized, you become a branch on the vine, like this little fellow here, okay? You become a branch on the vine. And this one doesn't have many branches, as you can see, but probably in a couple of years it will have. Jesus also says that the Father is the vine grower. So if the Father was planting this, okay, he would plant it in a situation where we get a lot of moisture and a lot of nutrients, and so he'd grow up to be a beautiful large tree. Anyhow, this evening, the message this evening for the boys and girls, and indeed for all of us, is that Jesus is the vine, we are the branches. And this evening, boys and girls, when you receive Holy Communion, you are drawing closer to Jesus, who is the vine. In other words, the lifeblood is going from down here right up into the branches. So when you receive your Holy Communion here this evening, you're drawing even closer to the Lord himself. So it's a very special evening in your life. And I think it's one that you're going to remember for the rest of your lives. Certainly, I remember my own First Communion very well. So it's important, and we need to keep that in mind. And I know that your parents and every other friends or relatives who are here this evening feel exactly the same way. Now, Jesus also makes another statement. He says, "Remain in me, and I will remain in you." So what he's actually saying to us is it's not just enough to belong. You must belong as closely and as tightly as possible. Now, how do you do that? Well, I think the primary way of doing it, first of all, is that this is your first communion. Hopefully it's not your last communion. In other words, that you're going to be at Mass every Sunday. That's number one. But even more fundamental than that, if you want to remain in the Lord, then you have to become his friend in the very best sense of the word. If you want to remain in the Lord, then you have to talk to him. You have to talk to him on a daily basis. And it's as you do that in a sense, you can say, I am, I am a branch on the vine that's really a very, very healthy branch. So this is your assignment here this evening. First of all, to realize that you are tied on to Jesus Christ, that you're joined onto him, just like this trunk is joined onto the branches. Number one, you're joined onto him, and number two, he wants you to grow closer to him with each passing day. And my final comment is that in the gospel reading today, it also talks about what we call pruning, okay? About pruning, meaning if you have a plant that's not doing well, you come in here with a scissors or a knife and you chop it off, okay? Not all the way to the stem, but almost, okay? And in most instances, when you prune a branch, it's going to do better. But boys and this is a message not just to the boys and girls, it's a message to all of us. We have been pruned as we've journeyed through life. We've been pruned on many, many occasions for a variety of different reasons. And hopefully that pruning has had a great effect in your life over the long haul. Even though you went through a period of struggle, hopefully the outcome has been according to what you were hoping for. If it hasn't, if the outcome is not what you expected and you feel that you've been in a sense let down, just remember the Lord is still with you. Remain in the Lord and in his mercy, and he will take care of you over the long haul. Amen.